Hi guys, welcome back to day 4 of this week of identifying functions by graphs, okay? Increasing, what is a function, decreasing. So what we've kind of talked about this week already is that on the first day we identified if you're given a set of points, how can you determine it's a function? Does it pass the vertical line test? Then, if given a set of data, how do you determine if that's a function? Every input, every x value can only have one y value, and that means it's a function. Then we continued on Tuesday is identifying graphs if they're functions or not, and then saying if they're a function, are they linear, absolute value, quadratic, exponential, or other. And then yesterday what we talked about is looking at a graph and say this is where it's increasing, this is where it's decreasing, and this is where it's constant, and labeling that on the graph. So what we're going to do today is tie everything together and do problems 12 and 13. So 12a and 12b are the two graphs, and the same thing with 13a and 13b. So let's do these problems together. So the notes say, describe the similarity and differences between the pair of graphs. Use the words increasing, decreasing rate of change, and you can also use other type of words as well. Those are just words we encourage you to use. So let's do 12 first. So let's look at it. Well, 12, I look at this graph's going up, and this graph's going up, right? I also know that they all pass the vertical line test. So right away, for similarities, they're functions. Okay? They're both pass the vertical line test, so they're both functions, and this is going up and this is going up. So both of them are increasing. Okay? Then differences. Well, I know 12a, I'm just going to put a, is exponential, and b is linear. So that's a difference. So even though they're both increasing, they're two totally different types of functions. That would be enough right there to get full credit on it, identifying yes, they're functions and they're both increasing. And then the difference is that they're different types of functions and giving the official name for those functions. Okay? So let's look at 13. So what of it? Well, again, they both pass the vertical line test, right? So one of the similarities is they're both functions. So they're both going to be functions. And what happens here? Well, this graph here increases and decreases. On B, they just decreases, okay? So for letter B, what I would put, its similarity, is that they both decrease at some part, okay? This one's decreasing right here on A. This whole thing's decreasing on B. So that would be all I could put there is they both decrease at parts. What's the difference? Well, A also increases. Okay, it increases from negative infinity up to 0. And then also A is an example of a quadratic, and B is an example of an exponential. So that would be perfectly fine. They're both functions, they're both decreasing at parts. Differences would be that A increases as well as decrease, and that A is a quadratic and B is an exponential. So on the homework tonight, you have one problem and the same thing on the assessment. So all I'm going to have you guys do is make sure you have one or two similarities and one or two differences, and then submit that. If you have any questions, log on to Zoom. Again, this homework assignment is due tonight by midnight, and then you have an assessment that's due on Sunday. Have a great day, guys. Talk to you later.